Hey guys. Hey, don't mind. Wait. 1 second. Okay. Wait. I have a story from my dream that I gotta tell you. Are you gonna be as confused as I am? Not really. I'm not that confused, but like a little bit. Okay. Alright. So, I did have a pretty nice dream last night. I was in like this art studio, okay? And I had a check from a record label in the dream, and it was the first one that I had ever received, okay? I remember being so calm about the number, but it was giant. And they were telling me, like, hey, be like really nice to this person and that person and that person because they have never seen a check like that. Like, other people in the industry. They were like, hey, like, just so you know, these specific people, they've never seen a check like that. So just remember that, like, what you see isn't always what you get and that kind of thing. They were like, in the industry, like, these exact people don't have this kind of check, if that makes sense. And I was kind of like, okay, I have to be like super mindful of that. Try to be super mindful of that. But what does it even mean to be mindful of that? Because like, what's the context? What's going on? Yeah, the number was astronomical because I don't know. That's just what it was. I'm not gonna say it because manifestation, if it's anywhere close to that, then manifestation, I'm gonna like not say it because I don't want it to be like, oh, you threw this out there and like, do you expect that? Do you expect lower? Do you expect higher? You know what I mean? I'm trying to just, I don't even know what a realistic number is, but like, I'm gonna keep the exact number to myself. But they were, I'm not gonna say who or what, but they said, here's a list of people who have never seen a number like that. I was like, and these are famous people. I was like, who? Like, I was like, who? Who again? Like, okay. Like, it wasn't like, don't tell them. It was like, they already know. But don't, like, rub it in. Because, like, they've never seen it. They're not going to. Like, I was like, what do you mean they're not going to? Okay. Oh, no. But they were like, they already know. Just don't say anything. Or don't make it weird, you know? I was like, okay. All right. There were, like, very, very large celebrities in this room also. For example, Billie Eilish was there. She was kind of giving me advice, but I didn't know if she, like, had good intentions. Because here I was with this, like, already, like, contract already, like, signed check. I was like, I don't even know if this is a check that goes to the bank or if I have to hire somebody to make sure, like, I'm putting it in the right bank. Like, it was kind of giving, is it legal to cash a check that size? Like, what does this mean? Like, it was kind of, it wasn't giving, like, oh, you just, like, give it to somebody because they've seen it before. It was giving, like, they might have not seen it before. Anyway, I don't know. It was giving, like, they might have never seen that number depending on who they are, right? Like, yeah, the bank has, but like the people, you don't just walk in and you're like, here you go, because then what are they gonna do? Put it in like a paper shredder? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of giving like insanity at that point. But I was calm. I was like, okay, like that's just what it is. Because it's just a number. Like, numbers don't define your worth. They're just a number, whether it's high or low. So, you know. But remember your worth when you make choices for yourself, okay? Okay, so, yeah, but Billie Eilish was there, and she was talking to me, and we were talking about art at first, and I was like, okay, this seems normal, but then she says, don't blame yourself if you die. I was like, after, because she knew about the check and stuff, and she said, don't blame yourself if you die. I was like, I didn't even know how to take it. I was like, don't blame yourself if you die. I was like, I don't know what this means. don't blame yourself if you die. I was kind of like, so you mean in like an out-of-body context? Because normally my brain isn't even on that setting of like, don't blame yourself if you die. Like, I'm like, well, if I'm already physically dead, like, I'm the victim in the situation. I don't know. But like, also, don't blame yourself if you die. I was kind of like, as a ghost, I'm supposed to plan ahead of time not to blame myself if I die. For what? Blame myself for what? Dying? I'm lost. I don't know. I think it was maybe good advice, but I couldn't tell the context. I was like, if you're not gonna kill me and you don't think somebody's going to, why do you think I'm gonna die? I was kind of like, I should think very carefully before I respond to this because I don't know what that means. But she was like sitting right next to me and just said that. She was nice, otherwise. But don't blame yourself if you die was a kind of extreme, like, I don't know. I will say, it wasn't anything she had never seen before, but she said, don't blame yourself if you die. I was kind of like, well, what does this mean? Don't blame yourself if you die. Don't blame yourself if you die. It wasn't even giving, like, if somebody's gonna kill you, it's like, in any context, if you ever die, never blame yourself. It was, like, the advice she gave me. It was very, like, spiritual. It was very, like, out of body. It was very, like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm very spiritual, but, like, I never considered blaming myself if I died. Like, I don't know. But, like, she said ever. Like, if you ever die, don't blame yourself. I was like, okay. That was so scary. There was a tomato in my sandwich, like a giant roasted tomato. When I bit into it, I was like so scared it was a finger. Like I was so scared it was gonna be a human finger, but I did not want to take it out of my mouth to check. So I just trusted the moment. And it tasted like a tomato, but the texture was weird and I was scared. And I really didn't even tell you. I really just did it. I was that scared. I was that scared, but I didn't want to like make a scene of it. Like, you know what I mean? Because these tomatoes look weird. It's red, but it's got like yellow lines going through, like veins. Don't blame yourself if you die. I was like, I don't even know what context to take it in. I don't know if she was like underestimating me or if she's like, someone might try to kill you or something. I was like, I don't really know what this is. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to like come on here and make a video because I was like, that was scary. Not really scary, but like weird. Because I was not uncomfortable with the number no matter how ginormous it was, but like, it was still giving like, don't blame yourself if you die, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It was weird and trippy and sad and confusing when they showed me the list of people who were never going to see the exact number they showed me, because those are real people and they are saying this is the opposite of like what you would expect. But it's not my business, you know what I mean? And they were like, the people already know, so it's not like a shock to them, if that makes sense. I don't know. I was like, okay, like, but it feels weird if I handed this to you and I'm like, here's this, it's for you, but here's a list of all of the people, all the names who are never gonna see what you are being given right now. And they already know, but don't tell them. But they already know. They already see the number all the time, but it's not theirs. It's never gonna be theirs, and they know. And then you're like, you're looking at the list, you're like, are you sure those guys are okay with that? But it's not your business how they ended up okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And you're kind of like, well, I can't afford to say no. And I don't know how or why those people are not making the list. It's not my business. My business is to say yes. But it kind of, you kind of have to like just already be comfortable with that idea, I guess. Because they're like, here's a list of people, like, they already know. They're not going to be surprised, but like, don't make them uncomfortable about it. You're like, do I know how to not make them uncomfortable? Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Do I make people uncomfortable? Like, you kind of like internalize it. You're like, oh no, I don't know what this is, but yeah. And it's exactly who you would think, but it's not at the same time. Because you get surprised about who would see the good numbers once in a while, but you get surprised about who wouldn't see the good numbers once in a while. And then you're like, are you sure? They're like, yeah, they already know. And you're like, huh? They already know? They already know? I don't know what this means. But I will accept the big number, no matter how big it is. But then when Billie Eilish says, don't be surprised if you die, I'm gonna be a little bit scared. Anyway, Billie Eilish, as far as I know, she was one of the ones who got to see like really good numbers and stuff, so. But I don't know. But there were even artists who, as far as we know, are just like at the same size or a similar size, who like don't get the same numbers, if that makes sense. But they don't tell you. And that was kind of what it was about. It was like even some of those guys don't get the numbers you think they do. It's just to be a part of the story or whatever, of whatever's going on. There are some people who they pretend their numbers are lower, and there's some people who they pretend their numbers are higher, and there's some people who are what they are. So. So then when I was like honest about it and everybody found out, that was part of when Billie Eilish was like, don't be surprised if you die, ever. I was like, don't blame yourself if you die. I was like, I don't know what this means. But yeah, that was what happened. I don't know when it starts, but in numbers someday, if this is true, then I'll be entering don't blame yourself if you die territory as far as numbers. I don't know. So, am I scared? Some of these numbers are undeniable that I've seen in dreams. So, it's kind of giving like, at that point you have to say yes even if it's like, it was such a giant number, you have to say yes even if it's kind of like, don't be surprised if you die, you know what I mean, or don't blame yourself if you die. Like this would be like not having like a low self-worth if I accepted and then died. Like it would be like so high that like, not that I want that, I'm not putting out there for that, you know, obviously not. I'm so psychic too, I'm like, I'd be fine, but I was kind of like, does Billie Eilish not even believe in me? Like like in this moment I was like, damn, like do you not believe in me? I don't know. But like, she was nice. But yeah. Anyway, that was my dream. I guess, I don't know. You know, if I were famous and paid enough for security, or yeah, if I were famous and received enough money that I could pay for my own security, then I would do that. If I were famous. Because reasons, but yeah. I'm not planning to blame myself if I die. If that helps. I'm not planning to blame myself if I die. And I'm not planning to die, but you know. But again, some numbers are like astronomically hilarious because they're so high, to where you would have to say yes, even if it does mean that you don't know if you're gonna not die. Like, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, I don't know, it's just been dreams, but sometimes it's giving, I don't know if I need to like hire a financial advisor before I even decide like what kind of bank this is going into. You know what I'm saying? like I think before I even attempt to do that, like gotta hire somebody first who can like figure out what's going on. Because what if I don't know what's going on? Even if I do. What if I don't know what's going on? What if I don't know? But for this to specifically be the first contract I ever signed, in the dream it was the first one. And it was just like a crazy number. I don't know. I know what it was, but like, I'm gonna forget anyway. But I'm not gonna say it because it would be a fake number. We'd just all start laughing. Like, it would be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It was giving digits. I don't know, it was giving like a few successful artists combined or something. Like, it was giving numbers. But I'm not gonna say who, but it was giving some of these people have never seen something like that and don't tell them. Even though they already know, somehow. Anyway, obviously I don't have the bear cup. Starbucks just sent me this one. It's the plastic. I didn't buy this. I don't know if people buy them or if they're free. The plastic. I feel like an orangutan doing this. Like, I feel like that's what they would enjoy, like tapping on things and like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I give a little bit of that spiritual energy though. Like, I feel like they're a really cool animal. And I feel like I give vibes of like certain spirit animals, you know? I don't know. Respectfully, I'm sure they're doing so many amazing things on the planet. Like, I feel like animals alchemize energy so much. I feel like they just do. Like, just their natural actions are magic. And it's like we could never understand because we consciously do magic if we even are lucky enough to do magic, right? But like their natural actions are just magic. And we're just like, we're never gonna understand them. Also, earlier I had some weird idea where I was kind of like, I feel like, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like some people reincarnate because their actual soul is just like worth less than a lobster, like an actual lobster. So I don't know, guys, but check and make sure that you're worth more than a lobster so you don't reincarnate, like an individual lobster. Because I'm sure you've tried that before, like that meat, but like maybe not, but like, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that like your actual worth, some of these people, okay, make sure your worth is more than a lobster so you don't reincarnate. Because these people who are a lobster are reincarnating. Don't be on the same level as a lobster, be above it. Okay? Okay. Just be above a lobster and get out of here. Don't reincarnate. Don't blame yourself if you die. To quote Billie Eilish, my dream. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. I guess that's it for the video. I have nothing else to say. But I love you guys. Bye!